Hi, I'm Ruth Amanda, and I am the author and illustrator of the award-winning book Geckos in the Garden, published in 2023 by Friesen Press. I've been asked to explain a few of my tips for aspiring writers or people wanting to self-publish. I was hybrid published, and that worked with me for my first book and my second and third books. However, I have a couple more projects going, and this time they are truly self-published. So my tips for you are: number 1, editing. You can never go wrong with a good editor. So no matter how great a writer you think you are, your writing can always be improved. And please don't let your ego get in the way. When your editor makes a suggestion, unless it's going to distinctly destroy your story, I would take those suggestions. They know their market and they have a little bit more experience than we do as self-published authors. But editing is the best use of your money. They can take an okay story and help turn it into a great story, and they can prevent a great story from getting lost in really bad grammar, spelling, bad format, and I just think it's a brilliant idea. The next stage, especially if you're writing children's books, illustration. Illustration is key because for a picture book, that is more than 50% of the story. If you are not an artistic person and you aren't comfortable illustrating your own books the way I did, then you want to hire an illustrator. But you're going to want to be very careful about how you hire that illustrator. You want to ask appropriate questions. You want to make sure that the deadlines are clear, that they are seeing your vision for the story, and that you are happy with their style of illustration. You can probably find many of these already vetted and ranked on Reedsy. Reedsy is an excellent resource. You can also find your editor there. But other things you want to keep in mind: your illustrations are the property of your illustrator. They have the copyright. So you want to make sure that your illustration includes some sort of contractual obligation that allows you to use those images in other ways. Do you want to merchandise? Do you want to create a stuffed animal from your main character? Do you want to create board games from your characters? Do you want to have multiple series? You're going to need the same illustrator on board. That's a good thing to know. So you want to be quite clear on who's going to own and control those images and what sort of royalties will be expected. So my next tip would be a book designer. A book designer is really going to help you choose the right fonts that are going to work for you. They're going to help you arrange the words on the page to make them look good with your illustrations. And they're going to just overall really give your book some polish. They're also generally going to be doing your complete book layout for you. So unless you're really tech savvy and comfortable using some of the tools on KDP or Ingram Spark, this book designer is going to do a lot of those stages for you. So my final tip is that hybrid publishing, depending on where you are, is going to cost you anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000. And that's US dollars. So if you're from Canada or another country, just so you are doing some exchange. When you self-publish, depending on how many services that you choose to use, that's going to be considerably cheaper, which means you need less copies sold to break even. It also means you have a whole lot more control over your book. So I'm saying that you spend your money on an editor. If you do not do your own illustrations, on a good illustrator. You will probably, if you do your own illustrations, require a little bit of software, because even if you hand draw illustrations, you are going to need to do a little bit of editing and manipulation of those on a computer at the end of things to clean up the lines. And last but not least, that designer, that book designer, is going to be key. So I suggest hiring all of those things through Reedsy or Fiverr. I have had great luck with Reedsy, so that's the one I recommend.